New York Times. From a publication standpoint, hard to be bigger than the New York Times. So I'm thrilled that she's decided to come here and join us here at Rowan University. Please welcome Monet Davis. Welcome. Please have a seat over here, Monet. I just want to show Monet right here. Again, emphasizing first woman to earn a win and throw a shot on Little League World Series. Played softball at Hampton University. She graduated with a journalism degree, earned a master's degree in sport management from Columbia University, and she aspires to work in a Major League Baseball franchise. That's still the dream?
Kinda? Yeah.
Tell me about what you hope can happen in the next couple of years as far as Major League Baseball is concerned?
Honestly, I haven't been around baseball in so long, it feels like, but I just feel like if it keeps continuing on growing how it's growing, I feel like they're letting their players, play their game. They get to celebrate, they get to wear, whatever type of apparel that they want to wear, and they're just letting their players be free, and it's fun for us to watch as fans, and I think that they continue on that trend. I think baseball will be fun again.
So you interned with the Dodgers. What was that experience like?
I got to learn some video editing skills. I got to actually go back in their database and see some pictures from when I was there, which is pretty cool. Got to film with some of the players. Didn't get any insight if they were going to sign Ohtani before it happened, but it was really cool.
So, earlier we had a class and we had a young lady that's working with the Rowan football team. She said she was the only female in the locker room. It's changing though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That there's more women. So give me your perspective for when you had to see, in a Dodgers organization, other women that are working in professional sports.
Yeah, it's changing a lot. Just within the last 10 years, I know MLB has the youth development programs, and they do Trailblazer series, which is just girls in baseball. They have EDI, which is girls in baseball. They've incorporated the USA Women's National Baseball Team with a lot of things that they're doing. So it's definitely changed a lot, but then also seeing women in higher positions that, growing up I never saw, mm-hmm. and then seeing them do it and seeing them achieve greatness, like seeing Kim Ng and what she's done with the Marlins, it really puts into perspective that no matter what you look like, no matter what gender you are, that you can, achieve the big time dream that you've always wanted.
So, I asked them before you came out, all right, how many remember? A lot of hands went up, they remember. You heard the editors from Sports Illustrated saying, we'll know the impact 5-10 years from now. What impact have you seen 5-10 years from that moment in 2014?
I feel like I've just seen the brilliance and attention that women's sports is getting. Like a lot of people, I took my brother to the Caitlin Clark game, and he was all for it. And then before, we would be texting throughout different games, and just seeing the impact that women are getting. It's just amazing to watch, because when I was younger, like, there was WNBA, but you couldn't really watch it on TV. You could maybe find a highlight here or there, but there was none of that. And now you see Caitlin Clark selling out arenas everywhere she goes. You see women's college basketball doing phenomenal numbers, doing better numbers than the men did during the NCAA tournament. So it's really fun, and I just hope that it continues on growing. So
do you know what her dream was when she was going through that whole baseball thing? It was to play for the UConn women's basketball team. That was your dream.
Yeah.
That was your dream. Well, you talked to Gino Auriemma, the coach of UConn at the time.
Yeah.
But did you have any shot at playing at UConn, in your opinion?
If I tried, yeah. I feel like if you put your mind to it, yeah. But I started to realize, like, I was done growing in 6th grade, so like I was like, there's no way that I can play for UConn and be a point guard, because usually when you're small and you're a guard, they want you to be scrappy, and I was never the scrappy type. I was always very just finessing everything, very smooth, and I always thought I was a big man in my head. But once I started getting older, I started to realize, like, is that something that I really wanted to do? Once you get to college and you're playing sports, you realize it becomes your job, and like you have to really love it in order to play it for 4 years and not feel like you're being burnt out, not feeling like you are dragging yourself out the bed to go to practices. So once I got older, I was like, yeah, I don't think basketball is the way to go for me, but I still play here to this day with all my friends.
We had that video in that piece where you did the crossover.
Yeah.
That was like the video of everyone seeing Monet play basketball.
Yeah, that was the very first video of myself on YouTube, actually. Yeah.
How about that? All right. Lots of students here, lots of questions for you. I'm going to let them ask the questions. So who would like to go first with the first question for Monet? Go ahead.
What made you like pick sports journalism? Because I'm a sports cam, and I'm like a big NFL fan. I'm a huge like Jets fan. So like, what made you pick sports journalism as like your major?
Just wanting to be around sports. I felt like growing up as women, it was either you be like a sideline reporter or you are the player. But I knew I didn't want to be a player, and I just felt like I've tried sideline. I just never been a fan of it. And then once I got to college, my friends started a sports show there, and we would just debate on the desk and just argue with each other, talk sports nonstop. So I just knew I wanted to get into journalism, and then I'm like, it's like, why not talk about sports? I've been around sports my entire life, so I figured that'd be the best way to go.
All right, right here.
How did you handle the pressure as the Little League World Series went on and more hype was built around you, and then even after when you went on the media tour?
Yeah. I'd say the adults around me did a great job handling it. Little League has their own communications team, and before anything started, we all sat down and they were like, we're going to make sure you do things that you're going to have fun with, that we think is going to be worth the time, and not just shove you into a bunch of different things, because they wanted me to enjoy the experience just as much as any other kid there. But once I got back home and everything, my parents, my coach, they all just took care of everything. And I've been at, my school since second grade. So, they made sure everything was always secure for me, making sure that I was enjoying school and, just being a kid again.
In the back. Go ahead, Connor.
My question for you is, do you still keep in touch with your teammates from the Teenage Dragons?
Yeah, all the time. I saw them yesterday at Xfinity during the game. So we're in a big group chat. We always check in on each other. We always try to support each other. We have teammates that have been drafted, and we're always cheering for them and make sure that they know, like, if they're ever down, they still have us no matter what. So I talk to them all the time. Talked to some earlier today. Probably talk to some later today too.
Just so you know, I covered Monet a lot during that period. And this summer, I was doing a camp out in Seattle, Washington, and I was in Everett, Washington. And her catcher, Scott Bandura, plays for the Emeralds. What's the Emeralds? Forget the name. It's a team out in Oregon. And so, Eugene Emeralds. And so he went to Princeton, had a great career, but he was, they announced his name, and I go, wait a minute, that's Scott Bandura. And I texted Scott's dad, who was her coach, and texted Monet as well. And it's just so cool to see those guys do really well. He's not the only one. There's Jared's been playing as well.
Yeah.
So to that point, there was a lot of talent on that team, and you got a lot of attention. But yet, it was the team. It was a really great team. But can you talk a little bit about that chemistry that you guys had?
So a lot of us on the team have been playing together since we were 7, and we've never played for other teams. We've always just stuck together year round. So we played soccer together, played basketball together, played baseball together, and then we also went to the same school. So we really did know each other to a different extent than normal teams would normally do. And we played against you guys a bunch of times too. So the team has always been the same, and that just helps the chemistry 10 times more, because when someone's on their game, when someone's not on their game, and you kind of read their body language, and we kind of just feed off of each other. So I think I've just been blessed with the teammates that I've had, the coach that I had, because they've definitely made the experience a lot easier for me. And then when everything happened during Little League, it was nothing new to us, because we've been playing with each other for so long, and they've seen what I was able to do a long time before everyone else did. So it was really cool to have that experience with all of them.
The other player she was mentioning, Jared's played a lot, plays in minor leagues as well. So got drafted. So a lot of talent on that team. A lot of talent. So Sean, go ahead. What's your question?
Have you ever, when you when you met Michelle Obama, what did she say to you? And because she's been part of her dad, got her very into sports.
Yeah. She just talked about how she just watched the games and how much she loved it, which I thought was pretty cool because at the time she was the first lady, and it's like, why is the first lady watching some little 13-year-old play baseball? Which I thought was very wild, but she was super nice. They both said how they just enjoyed watching me play and to never stop because, you know, I could do whatever I put my mind to.
To the women out there, did she inspire you? Is there any woman that would say, because I know in my history of sport class, Christina, you're nodding yes. How did she inspire you?
I played softball my whole life, so I know a lot of girls. There were actually a decent amount on my team that used to play baseball and up to a certain point switched over to softball. So I admire your commitment to staying with baseball, especially through and through. But it was remarkable to see, like, you're only like 3 years older than me, just to be able to see you on TV and just show that you can play just as well, if not better than everybody else.
You hear that a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
That's pretty, I mean, it's humbling, isn't it? It's humbling. How kids come up to you and say, man, I can't believe you were able to accomplish. How hard was it to accomplish what you accomplished?
I'm still not sure if I fully wrapped my head around like what I've actually done and just like sat back and really thought about it. But like I said before, it was something that, you know, I've been so used to doing all my life that it just felt like at the time I was just like, why is this such a big deal? Like, I've done this before, like it's nothing special to me. But I think once I fully wrap my head around like what has happened, that I'll have a better answer for it. But I just think it's super cool because one of my friends that I played against in the Little League, his little sister would always say how like it wasn't her brother that got her into baseball. Like it was because I was playing and that she wanted to play and that I've been her favorite baseball player. And he always like kind of comes at me. He's like, you're trying to steal my sister from me. But I just think that's super cool because I just feel like it just paved the way for girls to have different opportunities in life.
All right, and you just heard from one right there. In the back, go ahead, John.
Based on the video, it seems like you met a lot of different celebrities and athletes. Out of all the ones that you met, who gave the best advice?
Honestly, I'd probably say that it was all pretty the same. All of them just kept saying, just keep going. But I would say the one that probably stuck with me the most probably be Kobe Bryant, because if you didn't see at the top of the magazine, he was actually supposed to be on the cover, and I ended up bumping him off the cover. And so when I first talked to him, he brought that up, and I didn't know what to say. But he was another guy that was just like, he set his daughters down, and as you know, like there was 4 of them, and he's like, I made my daughters watch every single game, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. You wanted to meet, was it Maya Moore in the WNBA? You were really excited about that.
Yeah.
When you met Clayton Kershaw, he gave you a bat, I believe it was. So, and then you go on all these different talk shows. I went with you to Chicago and you went out there and did the Harvey show. But is there one moment, to almost John's question, that stands out more than another? Was it Michelle Obama contact you? Was it talking with Kobe? Is there one moment that stands out that you go like, man, I don't know how we top that?
I don't know. I feel like probably I got to do the National Christmas Tree lighting with the Obamas. So I thought that was pretty cool, even though it was a children's book, and the only thing I cared about was not messing up and just actually making it show like I know how to read, like I go to school. That was probably the coolest thing because that happened December of the same year. So I just felt like, how can my life continue on like getting better? Because no one at that age, like it just feels impossible that you can meet the president of the United States. So like I was like, how can I top this? But Coach Steve has always just pushed me to be better at everything that I've done, everything that I do. He's always like, make sure, you know, the age of 13 is at the peak of your life. So I always keep that in the back of my head, and I just keep striving to just achieve more. And you know, I have a lot of younger siblings, I have younger cousins, and just putting them on a path and showing them that, you know, there's so much out in this world that they can do.
All right, who's next? Right here, Emma.
You talk about the burnout that's involved in playing college sports for 4 years, that you didn't want to do that at UConn. Neil mentioned that you did play softball. I'm curious, did you play softball for 4 years? Did you encounter burnout? What do you do when you encounter those? I expect that you've experienced burnout. And what do you do when you encounter that sort of wall, and how do you get through it?
So I've only played 1 year, 1 full year of college softball because of COVID, and then I didn't play senior year for reasons with a coach. But yeah, for sure you experience burnout because softball, you go from when you step on campus in August, you're working out the entire time, and then you still have, you'll have fall games. You might get like a week off in December, and then once you come back, it's back to the grind mode. So I definitely experienced burnout a few times, and the things that I've done, I just try to clear my mind. So I'll play a lot of like Call of Duty, get some anger out. I like to take walks, and I'll just like rely on my friends, talk to them at all times because I know they're going through the same things, and they've gotten me through a lot of things before even getting to college. So, going to them and talking to them because they know how to get me through situations, and they've been in those situations as well. So really relying on the support system that I have.
She mentioned before, Coach Steve, that Steve Bandura, that was her coach with the Anderson Monarchs, which was the AAU team that supplied many of the players for Taney that went on to the Little League World Series. To this day, and that's Scott Bandura, is the one I referred to earlier, that's playing minor league baseball now. But actually, he's not a catcher anymore; he's an outfielder. But you're still close with Coach Steve.
Yeah.
And that's remarkable that someone that early in your life is really going to be with you your whole life. Mm-hmm. How unique is that, or how special is that relationship?
It's gone past just like coach and player. Like during high school, since I moved out to Jersey, like in the middle of 7th grade, going into 8th grade, and that's an hour drive every day. And like I said, I have an older brother who is still in school. I have 2 younger siblings who are still in school. So him and his family, they're just like, you could just stay here throughout the week and whenever you need to. And even till this day, like he's like, you still have the key to the house, like you can come stay, because they're empty nesters still. Because Scott's still at school, and then his older sister is at school. So they just let me come over whenever I need to, and no matter what's going on, I know I can call him, I can call his wife, call Scott, I can call his sister, and just talk to them about anything. And it was really cool because yesterday was the first time I've seen Scott since probably New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like he's getting taller each time, but it just feels like, no matter what's going on, no matter how long we don't talk to each other, like that's still my brother at the end of the day. Coach Steve's he's my second dad. Miss Robin, who's his wife, she's my second mom, and it's a family dynamic now to a point where they just call me their own daughter.
And Scott went back this semester at Princeton to finish up his degree. Mm-hmm. So, smart guy. All right, next question. Who's got it? Right here.
So you mentioned Caitlin Clark. Do you ever see like your younger self in what she goes through in her rise to WNBA stardom?
A little bit. I just feel like for her, it's more of the social media is really heavily involved with, the things that she's going through, the hate and everything. I did not have that good thing, just because it wasn't as big. But I think she's doing a phenomenal job handling everything, and I think her teammates are protecting her as well. And just watching her play from the beginning of the year till the last game of the season, like I've seen her grow so much as a player. And I'm just excited to see, what she does, because I think right now the rookies are kind of becoming the face of the league along with Asia Wilson. But she handles it amazing. So I do see it, but I think she might get a little bit worse than I'm getting because she's done so much and she's still in that same career path, and people are going to have their expectations through the roof for her. And whenever she's not, playing how people are expecting her to play, she's gonna keep getting hated on no matter what.
There's a lot of similarities, though.
Yeah.
I mean, for you and her, there really is.
For sure.
I mean, obviously you're a lot younger, but you haven't met her, have you?
No.
You want to meet her?
Why not?
Caitlin Clark. No, sorry. Yeah, they're in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
They lost to Connecticut, was it?
First game,
yeah. Okay. All right. Next question. Who's got it? Right here. Go ahead.
With all the fame, success, like doing interviews and meeting famous celebrities, how do you feel like you transition that to living a normal childhood and like experiencing the rest, like the rest of your years to enjoy your childhood? How do you transition with that?
I thought it was pretty easy, just because the friends that I've had them since I was 7. So like, get my same friend group. I'm a very shy person as well. So like, I'm very reserved and I stay to myself. So I'm not gonna say it's hard to meet new friends, but it is kind of hard to meet new friends because you never know people like what their intentions are. But I felt like it was pretty smooth for me. I went to the same school since second grade, so that friend group always stayed the same. I knew all the teachers there, so everything was pretty normal when I got back to school, and then just living life. The only thing that was different is like couldn't walk to the pizza shop by myself, like couldn't do certain things by myself, which obviously I understand now. But everything was pretty normal.
You went to Columbia. You got your master's.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Why did you do that?
I just felt like, why not? I don't know. I just wanted to go back. I wanted to learn more of the business side of sports. But I'm open to doing a bunch of different side quests at this point. Like maybe I'll go back and get a doctorate in something. I don't know.
Dean Tweedy, she's thinking about a doctorate.
We got one though.
Was it difficult, being at Columbia? Just give me a sense of what's it like for you at 10 years removed, and they brought it all back to the 10-year anniversary. You did a lot of different interviews, things like that. So what was that like being back at Columbia in a whole new environment for you?
It was fine, honestly. I feel like the first kind of week or so was a little difficult because Hampton's an HBCU, so I'm used to seeing a lot of, black students in my classroom. And then going to Columbia, it was like I was one of the only, I think we might have had like probably less than 10 black students in our cohort, so in all my classes. And then also being a black woman at that, so there, you have a different perspective on just life in general. And I was very fortunate to have the different perspective on just playing sports. So once I got past like that imposter syndrome, everything was pretty cool. I learned so much from my classmates. They're all just sports fanatics. So, just being able to talk sports with them and, not just talking about the sport, but having the background to talk about, learning the business side of sports and how things being played and looked at. So now when I watch sports, I always think about like, all right, how much money is this team bringing in? Like, I always think of it that way. But the transition was pretty smooth. Classes were fun, a lot of reading. I know I don't like finance at all, but had to learn it anyway.
Doctorate though, maybe, who knows? We'll see what happens. Dr. Steiner's back there. Dr. Julie Richmond, they got their doctorates over there. All right, who's got the next question right here? Go ahead.
Do you have any advice for women who want to go far in the sports world?
I would honestly just say just go for it. Don't be afraid to a lot of women feel like they're not qualified for a position, and we talked about this in my marketing class. Like women won't apply for jobs because they feel that they're not qualified. But there's a lot of organizations out there that want women in their higher leadership roles because in my perspective, in my opinion, I think women are just natural born leaders. So there's teams out there that want women out there, and they want women to run their team and to control their team. So just go for it. No one can stop you. And there's so many opportunities out there in the sports world for women now. So do what you gotta do, work hard, and don't let anyone stop you.
Dr. Richmond's a regular attendee of Pizza with the Pros. You hear a young lady speak like that about women and go for it. What would you say about how she just answered that question?
Fantastic. Definitely go after the job that I always say the job calls are a wish list. So if they try to make you feel unqualified, but still go after it. I mean, if you need 15 years of experience, it's your first year out, don't go for that. But certainly, and especially to women in the audience or any minoritized group, definitely go after it.
Yeah. All right, next question. Who we got? Right here, Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, so you mentioned how, I think I heard you like soccer too.
Yeah.
Did you get to watch the U.S. kind of on their redemption tour beating everyone in the Olympics?
Of course. I was watching every game. Even went to a watch party at the Union Stadium before I think Gotham played Washington. So yeah, I've always been a huge soccer fan. So it was really cool to see, what the hardships that they've gone through the past 4 years, and then being able to come back and just completely dominate the Olympics was just amazing to watch. It's very sad though, because the team I grew up on, a lot of them are starting to retire. My favorite player hasn't played in like 4 years, it feels like, but it's really cool to see the younger generation stepping up and just dominating.
So you do love a lot of different sports. So everyone always kind of equates you to baseball at this point, but could you see yourself working in basketball, in soccer, in maybe football, another sport other than baseball, or is it just baseball where you hope that it works out?
No, I could see myself working in other sports. I was an intern for the Philadelphia Phoenix, which is the ultimate Frisbee team, which is very different, but also really cool to watch. I got to go to Canada with them and watch them play out there. So if you haven't watched Ultimate Frisbee, I think you really should, because it's like basketball, football, soccer. It's like everything combined, but it's a faster paced game, and there's so many just highlights that you'll see. So it was pretty cool. Got to do that. So I could definitely see myself working in other sports.
We just added, Frankie, we just added didn't we add that to our intern list, the Frisbee? So if you want information, go on the Excel spreadsheet, the internship list, the Frisbee team, go for it. She would intern there, you can intern there as well. When people come to you, they go, okay, what's next? What are you going to do next? And how do you keep answering that? Because do you still get offered opportunities now that might not be offered to maybe some of these after they graduate from school?
Yeah, I still do, like, I guess you could say freelance jobs for MLB. So like they'll have some broadcasting opportunities for RBI, so I get to do some of those. I did a sideline for the RBI World Series, which is cool. I've done some stuff at Little League with MLB this past Little League. So I still get some opportunities, and that's just from the connections that I've made and just being myself, which is pretty cool.
Now, you wanted to be a broadcaster one time.
Yeah.
Where does that stand?
I don't know right now. I mean, it's still pretty cool, but I feel like I'm shooting for the stars here.
So you want to be the big boss?
I want to own a team. Yeah.
Oh, she wants to own a team.
Yeah.
Let's go. How are we going to go? So, actually, a WNBA team. Weren't you trying to be part of that? To share that.
Yeah, I've obviously been a big fan. But when they started talking about expanding, obviously Philly was up there on the list. So, trying to find the right people that have at least $50 billion around that they can just let me have and go build the team. But it's not that easy. But just putting myself in different situations and different positions to meet the right people to become part of an ownership group that we can make that happen.
You see the way she thinks, right? You see the vision. Like, I have to believe, Monet, that because of your life experiences, you don't cut short your goals. Like, you have endless amount of goals.
Yeah.
And that's because of how you've grown up, I would imagine. True?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Just saying things and working for them. Like, I didn't expect so the year before Little League happened, we used to watch the Nickelodeon Sports Awards with like my younger siblings, and in my head, I was like, dang, that'd be really cool to go experience one of these. Like, that'd be really cool. And then exactly a year later, I was presenting an award for Derek Jeter. So, like, I just kind of put things out there and just work towards them. And that's just kind of been my mindset, because everything that I said I wanted to do, I've been able to do it. And so I just keep doing that, just not changing any habits and just working hard to those goals.
All right. Who's got the next question over here?
How do you stay focused and stay driven towards the goal you want to achieve?
Just want a better life for myself, for my family, for my friends. I feel like they've sacrificed so much for me, and they show me so much support that I just want to help them out. And like, that's just been my goal. It's just making sure I stay focused. And I feel like with my friend group, like, I'm the one that will like kind of put people onto new ideas and try to help them see the vision as well. But just want to give back to those that helped me out in my life.
Sam, go ahead.
I kind of alluded to this earlier, but back in 2014 when you went on the media tour and the World Series, how do you use that momentum to still get opportunities and still get to places where you want to go?
People don't realize when you have so much attention on you, so many people want things from you, and so you kind of have to capitalize on that. So like, say like this is 2014 and we're being interviewed, and you're like, oh, who's someone you want to meet? Like, go for whoever you say, because that's going to circulate, and then you get to meet so many different people. So especially being so young, like when I said I wanted to meet Maya Moore, like got invited out to a playoff game and got to meet my favorite player, which is pretty cool. So, just capitalizing on your opportunities, but also just being yourself, just staying true to who you are, staying true to your values is huge, and that's something I believe in.
She did a commercial with Spike Lee that I believe ran during the World Series for Chevrolet.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
That was pretty cool. I got to miss, I didn't get to miss, but unfortunately I missed my friend's birthday party, which is pretty sad. But, ultimately I looked at it as a positive, and I got to go to the World Series, which is pretty cool. I got to throw out the first pitch that game, which is also pretty cool. But that was definitely just a totally different experience that I wasn't used to. Like, I had to get up at 6 a.m., probably earlier than that, had to film a bunch all day. You're being rushed everywhere, and then you just hurry up and wait. That was one phrase that I never forgot. It was just hurry up and wait. But I was a huge sneaker fan, so I got a lot of Jordans during that time. Got a lot of Jordans, yeah.
All right, who's next? Where are we going? Right here, Lane.
Tennessee and Philadelphia, and I actually got to go to the Hall of Fame a couple years later to see your jersey. Can you speak on what that was like, being able to be included in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So right after the game, we were in the dorms, and they were just like, yeah, like they want to put your jersey in the Hall of Fame. And I was just thinking the Little League Hall of Fame. So I was like, okay, cool. They're like, well, we need your jersey right now. And I was like, well, I need a jersey to play in the next game. Like, I want to play. And they ended up making me a replica jersey, which is pretty cool. But I've been up to the Hall plenty of times, and it was kind of a full circle moment. So the first time I went up there, Barry Larkin was being inducted, and I ended up seeing him in the back of a CVS. And then Little League comes up, and he's calling the games, which I thought was pretty cool. And, got to talk to him about that moment. But, just seeing all the greats in the Hall, seeing, obviously being a big fan, like you, especially if you like the history of the sport, like that's a place to be. And to go up there and just see my jersey there is just kind of speechless. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but I think it's pretty cool, because anytime someone goes up, I get pictures of it, and I'm like, that's really fire. And they have a women exhibit up there now too, which is even better. And then they have the Negro Leagues. They just put their stats and everything up there, so it's very cool. And just I guess it feels great to be kind of part of history of the game now.
When her jersey went in, I went up there with her, and there was a woman that was she played, what was it?
Mamie Peanut Johnson.
Mamie Peanut Johnson, that's it. She said, this is going to be the first woman that's going to pitch in the major leagues. Now, because you didn't grow, right, that would have helped, right? But, when people were saying that, did you believe it at the time?
No, because I didn't want to do it. So I just let them talk, and because people always try to put expectations on you, and people want you to do what they want you to do. And so I just knew, I was like, yeah, y'all can keep saying that, but that's not my goal. And my goal is to be a WNBA player. So like they always brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm okay. But trying to compete with those guys, when I've always been taller than all my teammates, and then once they started growing, I just kind of gave up, because it's just no point. But there's times where I had to compete, and I love just trash talking. Like, I love when people trash talk me. I love trash talking people. And so my teammate made a bad decision of basically saying, love him till this day, still talk to him. But he just decided that he wanted to say, oh, we have no more pitchers. Like, who are we going to play? And I was like, you know what? I'll show you something. And went out there, and we ended up winning the championship game when I was pitching. And I just rubbed it. I gave it to him after the game. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's good. Go ahead, Jordan.
So you have the play ball quarter zip on. What have you been most impressed with amongst younger generations and getting them to play baseball since you were in Little League and to now, and not just younger generations, but a global impact?
Yeah, I stole this from All Star because they were just giving it away. But play ball is really cool because they go to so many different cities and just try to get so many kids involved. And I think that's been the huge thing for not just baseball, but for sports in general is getting that next generation involved. And like I said earlier, like being able to see these professional players show their character, show their personality, wear whatever they want, adding that flair to the game, that's what kids want to see nowadays. Like kids want to see the highlights. They want to see Jazz Chisholm with the crazy shoes and crazy belts. Like that's what people want to see. And so when they see that on TV and they're like, oh, I want to go play baseball, like that's what Play Ballpark is for. That's what all of the youth development programs that MLB has, that's what it's for. And, they kind of pave a way for a lot of, not just a lot of baseball players, but a lot of baseball players from inner cities as well. So like the RBI program, like that puts kids on they put them in the spotlight and they are able to show, that they can compete on all stages. And a lot of the people that I played against are on RBI, that, my friends played against are on RBI. A lot of them have gone on to the big programs in college or even gotten drafted out of high school. So it's huge just what they're doing with the whole Play Ballpark and anything youth development related.
Okay. In the back.
You made the comment a little while back about the expectations people placed on you. Was there ever a moment where the expectations placed on you, or even expectations you placed on yourself, that they were a little bit too much? And what were you able to do to push past that or get past it?
Any expectations people put on me, I kind of ignored them. Because like it's my life, like you're not living my life, so I'm not gonna let you tell me what I can and can't do. But I never put expectations on myself where I feel like they aren't achievable, where I feel like it's impossible. Because I think you can just accomplish anything you want. So I never had the pressure I never put pressure on myself. I've always just been the type of person that's like, if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. And I have the support around me to where they just want me to be happy. They want me to be myself because, going into college, I didn't know if I wanted to play basketball or softball. And I had to sit down with my stepdad and, Coach Steve and everything. And they were all like, even if you don't play a sport in college, like we don't care. We just want you to be happy. So I never try to put crazy expectations on myself. And even I feel like my family and friends, they never try to put expectations on me either because they know that if I want something, I'm going to be able to go get it.
All right. Who's next? Let me follow up on this. You see all these kids, they always want to know advice, right? Mm-hmm. You've been through college, both as an undergrad at Hampton and now through Columbia, and you probably are asked for advice all the time. First of all, do you feel qualified to give advice?
I think everyone's qualified to give advice.
Okay, good. So what advice would you give them?
I'd say networking is huge. Taking advantage of your professors because they've gone through so much and they're going to put you in the right positions because they care about you. So really taking advantage of your professors, taking advantage of different programs that are around campus because you never know who can end up being your boss or who can help you get a job later on in the future. And then also just enjoy the experience. Like go to the parties if you want. Like just go have fun because these 4 years fly by so fast. Like I was only on campus for 2 years because of COVID, and sometimes I'll look back and I'm like, dang, sometimes I regret, not being able to go out and just staying in the room. But I've been able to experience, my 1 year at Columbia, just doing things that I didn't get to do in undergrad. So joining different clubs, meeting different people, and just kind of opening myself up to new friends. So just enjoy the experience and never stop wanting to learn. That's very huge. Just never stop wanting to learn. So just have fun. They're gonna fly by so fast. So enjoy it for me because I only got 2 years on campus.
By the way, I tell them all the time they should enjoy their college experience, right? Go to parties, meet people, right? Get involved. You also do ads for DirecTV, is it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So do sponsors still reach out to you?
Yeah, and then I send them to someone else because I don't understand some of the language that are in contracts because that's where they try to get you. But yeah, they still reach out, and we just kind of talk and negotiate. So I am involved with negotiating, which is pretty cool. But we try to make sure we do things that align with who I am and align with putting me in the places and putting me on the path to achieving my dream.
Well, you've certainly achieved an awful lot, right, in a very short period of time. Go ahead, Sean.
Have you ever met Charles Barkley?
I don't remember. I actually did see him in a bar in New York, though, which was pretty crazy, yeah. Which was very wild because we kept staring at each other, but no one wanted to go up to the other person, so we just kind of never said anything about it.
We'll arrange that. We'll get you.
Well, no, it wasn't like we weren't drinking. We were getting.
No. We'll
okay.
get you. Yeah.
I mean, he talks a lot of trash. I'd rather meet Shaq, though.
You want to meet Shaq?
Yeah.
Do you not like it when Charles teases Shaq?
No, I love it, but I just feel like there's kind of like the business side of me, the getting older side. But like Shaq he's done so much, not just on the basketball field, but like he owns restaurants, he DJs, he just he's just
so
a
now
man of
that's
his-
an interesting point because you have to be careful about not oversaturating your name, and you went through this rapid, vast experience of your name being out there everywhere. And Shaq's out there everywhere. Is there sometime overexposure, or were you ever worried about overexposure?
I wasn't, but my friends will tell you, like, sometimes they'll be like, Mo, you need to, like, slow down, like, you're all over. So, like, this summer, I went to DC twice last week. Like, I just love driving. Like, I love taking a road trip. I have a Jeep Wrangler. I love him so much. His name's Lenny. So I love just going to different places and, kind of seeing just different environments. So I don't feel like it's too much. Yes, you can, like we talked about burnout in sports, that you can get burnt out in life to where you feel overwhelmed. And I hit that point at the end of the summer where I just felt like I was doing so much and I wanted to do so much, but then it kind of felt like I didn't have the support, which wasn't true at all. It was just me in my head, but there is a point where you got to slow down.
I'm going to go to Roberta Harvey here for a moment. She's Vice President of Academic Affairs. So I didn't hear the story, but I hear there's a story. Can you just share a little bit of the story with Monet?
I think I have a story.
Yeah.
Talking about 1972?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I actually brought this. My mom saved a drawing that I made when I was in second grade, 1972, which is a big deal because 1972 was when Title IX legislation was signed. But I was in second grade and I made this very kind of pretty, terrible second grade drawing and wrote a little story. And the little story says something about how I really love baseball and I wanted to do everything in baseball. And what I wrote was, some people think it's a boys' game, but I love it too. And in second grade, I was living in Montana, and the girls were allowed to catch balls in the field for the boys playing baseball at recess. So that's my story. I mean,
But when she came on the scene,
what it meant for you to go and pitch and all that. I know everybody except, but yeah, it was just.
now that's like you changed people's impression about women. Now there's women playing, or little girls play in Little League all the time now, right?
Yeah.
And they want to meet you a lot of times. When you've done games up there, they want to meet you.
Yeah.
That's because there were women that played before you, true?
Yeah.
But didn't have a complete game, didn't have a shutout. And by the way, you were a couple pitches away from hitting your pitch limit, weren't you in that game?
I was, yeah. Yeah. I was probably like. Actually, I think I went over, but I was able to finish the batter. So
Correct.
It goes back to whatever that number was.
But when you hear a story like that from someone like prior to when you came on the scene, does it put it all in perspective? Like, wow, look, like this is what we've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool though, because like you don't everyone you learn about Title IX, but then when you hear stories like that, it kind of hits a little different because not only am I accomplishing my dreams, but I've accomplished dreams for other people as well, and to show other people like kind of like thank you for the fight, because, you know, if it wasn't for the fight, then like I wouldn't be able to do what I've done, and generations to come wouldn't be able to do the same thing. So it's really cool hearing those stories. I think I've heard another story about that as well, which I thought was pretty cool. So, you know, it just makes me feel good.
Portland got a WNBA team.
Yeah.
How close is Philadelphia getting a WNBA team?
I really wish I knew.
You don't. Have you been in talks with anybody about being part of their ownership group or being part of that effort to bring a WNBA team to Philadelphia?
No, I don't think I'm in that tax bracket just yet.
Well, Monet, they might want you to be involved.
You know, and I would love that, and that's why everyone always asks like what my dreams are, and I always say that, and I think once that gets approved, then I think the talks would be, you know, I'll be more involved with the talks, which would be pretty cool.
You would reach out to a group, right? Say a group gets, I don't even know the group that's trying to get it here, but Philadelphia apparently is one of 4 teams that they're going to pick one more WNBA team.
I think they just picked one.
Well, they picked Portland.
Oh, that's Portland.
Portland, and there's one more to go.
Oh, so it should
Philadelphia
be
is one of 4 cities. It's Nashville. There's a couple other cities in there, and Philadelphia's got a strong chance.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know the group that. Well, it would be the Sixers group. It would be Harris Blitzer Sports.
Oh yeah.
And then you go, hey, you guys looking for a local person to be involved? And you know, been a long time.
Yeah, that was so. One of my classes we got to talk to. I forget her position, but she works in the W, and I asked the question like, what do you look for? Like in the market of cities, like what are you looking for to bring a team there? And they always talk about it's more long-term goals. Like they want people who are invested in the long-term of the team and not just, you know, what's happening right now with the hype that's going on. So I've been a fan for plenty of years now. So I'm definitely going to reach out and we're going to make something happen.
Where is women's sports heading in your opinion?
It's only going up from here. I feel like it's been going up since 2014 and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Is Caitlin Clark obviously put it on another stratosphere, but it was already heading in that direction prior to her arrival, right?
Yep.
And then to have with Angel Reese to have that competition, just like Magic and Bird when the NBA took off during their time. Is that what the sport needed?
For sure. And then you have a bunch of college women basketball players who are also doing phenomenal. Like you have Juju Watkins, who's only a sophomore and putting up crazy numbers. And people, like you said, like the Bird and Magic, people are saying she's like the next Jordan, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm excited to see, you know, what goes on, and they bring that flair to the game that it's been missing. And I feel like this year there's been just that extra, like the extra flair that's come to the game. It's just so much more excited to watch.
Anybody with a final? Okay, I'll take here and then we'll go here. Go ahead.
What do you want to see improve about the coverage of women's sports?
Probably the comparison to men basketball players. I think that's the big thing. Like the rivalry, that one's cool because like it's fun, but like when people are saying like, oh, Breanna Stewart's playing like Kevin Durant, like I don't like when people say that because like she's her own player, she's worked hard, and I get what they're coming from, but like it's just, let's just start respecting them a lot more. But that's probably it, and just let the women play their game.
Good, Jordan.
So baseball is my favorite sport, and I watched you growing up, obviously, in the Little League World Series. And from a baseball fan standpoint, how were you able to throw so hard at such a young age? And this is kind of a 2-part question, were you actually able to start developing a curveball, developing a slider? Because I know 13, 14 is kind of when you start throwing that, so you don't injure your arm too much. So I was just curious on your development there.
Yeah, so I started when I was about 9, and the first kid hit a bomb off of me, and I knew that I never wanted that to happen again. So that winter, I just worked on just a fastball, and then the next year we worked on a changeup, and then actually we played against your team, and that was the first time like I was taught how to throw a curveball, and he was like, let's just see what happens. And it worked a couple times. Other times it didn't work, but it's all about mechanics, like knowing the mechanics. Like we literally broke down my mechanics when I guess the second year I started pitching. Like we would record, lower half, then go to upper half, and then arm motion as well, and then take care of your arm. But yeah, we did a lot of film watching and comparison to, well, not just comparisons, but watching, the top major league pitchers, and just kind of breaking down how they're able to throw so hard, and just learning the mechanics. That's probably really it. And it also helped that I was taller than everybody and a little stronger than them at the time.
You had a number of different pitches though that you could throw.
I threw first. I learned a circle change, but I hated that. And then once I got a little older, I started throwing a split finger change, which started to look more like a knuckleball. And then my arm motion is kind of naturally sidearm, so I throw like 3/4, so the ball has tail on it, so it goes away from lefties and into righties, which definitely helped out a lot, instead of staying flat. But just trying different arm motions, just trying different things.
So what is your schedule like now, the next, the rest of the year? Like what do you have things on the horizon that you're looking forward to? What do you got?
Taking a break from everything.
Taking a break?
Yeah, I started coaching, which is pretty cool.
Whoa, you're coaching? What are you coaching?
I'm coaching softball right now, and then I'm going to go down to Anderson and coach basketball with them in the wintertime.
Okay, so Anderson Rec Center is in South Philadelphia where she grew up.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. And so most of the days I just relax, get my sleep, and then go to practice later on in the day, and then hang out with friends during the weekend.
And playing, what do you play?
I haven't played in years. Call of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty.
No, not years. I haven't played
Call of Duty.
I haven't played in a couple months, so.
Give a round of applause to Monet. Just want to say what we have coming up next week here with Peach with the Pros. It'll come up here momentarily. There it is. We have this woman, Leslie Walker. She's executive director of the Sixers Youth Foundation. I wanted to expose you to, we always think about marketing, PR, social media, on air, team executives, but there's lots of opportunities in sports organizations like running a foundation. And Leslie Walker is running the Sixers Foundation. She's had a lot of success. I show here that they had a big gala where they raised close to $2 million. I mean, this is all someone that's working with the team, working with the players. And so she will be our Pizza with the Pros guest next week. So that'll be 6 o'clock here next Monday night. Thank you again. Thank you, Monet. And thanks for coming, all right? Oh, pizza's there. There is pizza. There is pizza. So go have yourself some pizza.
Thank you.